This is a complete recording of my One Giant Leap for Mankind run. There are chapter markers so you can skip to the important sections. The run is definitely not perfect, but it was enough to get the achievement. The early game matters the most, because production scales exponentially, and your most important resource is the Mech's production queue itself. It's like having an extra factory going at all times. The first few minutes are very click-heavy. The opening 5 minutes is the part I rehearse the most. Having a fixed plan helps a lot. Every moment spent deciding what to do costs time. Another tip, don't be afraid to restart on a new seed. In one attempt, the oil seeps spawned on the far side of the planet, and just building conveyor took too long. Dismantling the space capsule only gives you hydrogen fuel rods, so I could have done even more resource collection before dismantling it. Also, I burned the fuel rods immediately, but they're probably better off saved for the first Mech cruise. Coal is an adequate early game fuel, as long as you don't fly and hover. The first major priority is getting the blue Matrices online. At the same time, whenever the Mech's production queue is idle, I handcraft components for the blue matrix production. There's no way to turn the visor completely off, but I have quite a couple of the settings still on, which made this run a little bit more difficult than it needed to be, trying to think about what I was doing when the advisor was talking about something else. Early on, while I get the miners up, I'm running research and all the tech that uses regular components. Researching the blue matrices gives you a wind turbine. Watching this recording, I wonder if I should have collected the resources early to be able to create the second one and a second wind turbine to power it, but I go get the stone I need and build it immediately.
Insufficient materials.
You've now built your first power grid. Some power facilities don't have a power supply range, so you'll need to extend the power grid coverage with Tesla towers.
Your vein is almost depleted.
Using resource veins that are almost depleted is fine, because they're not going to disappear in the first hour.
Which will adversely impact production lines and exploit new veins for replacement. Additionally, upgrade vein utilization to reduce ore loss during mining operation.
Insufficient items. Click on the replicator button at the bottom right corner of the screen to open the replicator and manually replicate the required items.
Research complete.
You've obtained sorter and conveyor belt. Full automation is now possible. Use a conveyor belt to transport ores collected in the mining machine. The sorter will transport ores onto the conveyor belt into the arc smelter and will smelt them automatically.
When building a conveyor belt, confirm its starting point and end point. Use up arrow to raise the conveyor belt one level. Use down arrow to lower the conveyor belt
Research
one level.
complete.
It has been raised. Press keypad 0 to reset the conveyor belt to ground level. To avoid the conveyor belt snapping to a building, try holding shift.
You've built an arc smelter, which automatically produces basic materials, such as iron ingots and copper ingots. However, to automatically feed in raw materials and feed out products, sorters and conveyor belts are required.
The sorter is a connector that moves items between facilities. Simply bridge from a supplier facility to a receiver facility. Then the sorter will automatically transport the items.
Replication complete.
Once a recipe is assigned, use less than key to copy the current
Insufficient
recipe,
materials.
and greater than key to paste the recipe to the next building.
Insufficient materials. Insufficient materials. Replication complete.
You've built a depot for storing items. You can manually store items or use a sorter to automatically access items. If there isn't enough ground space, make more efficient use of your space by stacking matrix slabs, depots, storage tanks, and splitters.
Replication complete. Research complete.
Another useful trick is that wind turbines can simply be chained together to form your power grid. Since you need the turbines for power generation anyway,
Insufficient
no need to
materials.
build any Tesla towers.
Research complete. Insufficient materials.
A matrix lab, a facility to produce matrices. It can also be used to research technologies that are unlocked with matrices.
Insufficient materials.
Matrices are the source codes to maintain the center brain simulation of a homeland. You can upload as many matrices to the center brain to run its simulation and unlock more technologies in the real world. You've built your first power transmission facility, a Tesla tower. It can help you transmit power wirelessly over a short
Insufficient
range
materials.
and extend the power grid coverage. Click on it to view more details.
Insufficient materials. Replication complete.
You have an unpowered production facility. To make it run normally, place it within the power grid coverage and make sure power is
Insufficient
supplied.
materials. Insufficient materials. Replication complete.
The facility has no recipe designated. Please configure one for it. Once a recipe is configured, press less than key to copy the current recipe. Pressing greater than key will paste the same recipe
Insufficient
to the
materials.
next building.
Insufficient materials. Replication complete.
The layout of this base is horrible, but rebuilding it better is a trap that wastes more time than it gains. When doing these speed runs, it's important to just continue if you make small mistakes rather than let it rattle you. I happen to build this base near a pole, so the geometry isn't helping, but this spot had good resources, so you can't have everything, unless you spend a lot of time searching for the perfect game start.
Replication complete. Insufficient materials. Replication complete. Insufficient materials. Replication complete. Insufficient materials. Replication complete.
My power is getting low, and I wanted to take care of that as fast as possible, rather than walking really slowly due to lack of fuel.
Insufficient materials.
So it's a good time to set up a coal mine, and note that I'm also using the Mech to mine at the same time, while it's also still doing the production queue. Looking at this after the fact, I waited too long to get some stone. I didn't need a lot, but even destroying a couple of rocks would have helped me by this point.
Insufficient materials. Replication complete. Insufficient materials.
At this point, I'm mining rocks for materials for the Matrix lab. I remember debating whether to set up stone mining, which would have solved this problem for good, but the closest stone resource was quite a ways away.
Insufficient materials. Insufficient materials.
I need more power for research, so I'm building a wind farm, but in the direction that connects my coal mine to the grid without Tesla towers.
Now you can click the planet thumbnail button at the bottom left corner of the screen, or press M to enter planet view.
Insufficient materials. Replication complete. Insufficient materials.
And here's the problem with stone on this map. It's on an island, and I don't want to spend precious research time unlocking foundations.
Insufficient materials. Research complete.
Now that blue is fully automated, it's time to start unlocking oil, if we shouldn't have done it earlier.
Insufficient materials.
I was going to need a good supply of stone to build the oil infrastructure, so now we have to take the walk all the way out to create a stone mine. And I used the windmill trick to attach it to the grid because we are going to need even more energy than we are generating soon anyway.
Warning! A dark fog planetary base has launched an attack. Icarus is equipped with a laser weapon module, which can automatically strike enemies within its range. Faster mecha power generation means a faster rate of fire. Fill the
Research
chamber with
complete.
fuels and get ready to engage.
Research complete.
Laser weapon module consumes mecha's core energy.
Now I'm just waiting for research to complete to move on to red, so I'm manually creating extra items to contribute.
Replication complete. Replication complete. Replication complete. Replication complete. Replication complete. Research complete. Research complete. Insufficient materials. Replication complete.
We've now got a backlog of raw materials for research, so I create a second tower. Later, this can be used for red.
Replication complete. Insufficient materials. Research complete.
Now that we've got Refinery unlocked, I can go build our oil infrastructure that we need for hydrogen supply.
Replication complete.
I really should have built the steam beam and bricks by this point, but we are further into this run than my plan went, so I'm just building things as I need them. Definitely a refinement that I'll take into account in the next run.
Insufficient materials.
And oops, I went out to build the Energized Graphite infrastructure without enough steel beams. This is definitely the worst part of my run.
Insufficient materials. Insufficient materials. Replication complete. Insufficient materials. Insufficient materials.
And now I'll start building the oil infrastructure. Hydrogen production is the big bottleneck in the tail end of this run.
Replication complete.
This facility produces various products. To filter its products, you need to configure sorter filter. When building a sorter, press tab or arrow keys for filter configuration.
Insufficient materials.
I quick made some coal storage so that I would have plenty of energized graphite, and then continued to get the refinery going.
Insufficient materials. Insufficient materials. Replication complete.
My power generation had become insufficient at this point, and I'm not going to worry about it because soon we will be burning oil just to get rid of it as a byproduct of the hydrogen generation, so we'll have tons of electricity from that.
Insufficient materials. Research complete.
Thermal power plant. This kind of power facility consumes chemical fuel. Ensure adequate fuel supply at all times so the plant can consistently generate power.
Research complete. Insufficient materials. complete.
Research is too slow. Build more matrix labs. Multiple matrix labs can contribute to the same research. Build more matrix
I went to go
labs
get
for
coal
separate
for the Mech,
research.
and I'm still waiting for the energized graphite research. As I said in the start, this isn't the prettiest run, but it got the job done in the end.
Insufficient materials. Insufficient materials. Replication complete. Insufficient materials. Research complete. Replication complete.
Now that I have all the research for red matrices complete, it's time to start researching the tech that I will need to unlock the cruise drive and leave for another planet.
Research complete. Insufficient materials. Upgrade complete.
I can save building another storage facility by routing the final graphite back into the coal storage. This would need a sorter to set up long term, but on a short-term run, I've built enough coal backlog that the graphite won't come out of the storage and block things up.
Insufficient materials.
Abnormal dark fog signals detected. A significant statistical correlation exists between the density of these signals and our power consumption. On this planet, dark fog is monitoring our energy fluctuations to determine how much threat we pose to them. When this threat peaks, they may launch an attack. The upper left corner of the screen shows the cumulative threat to each hive.
Insufficient materials. Insufficient materials.
Another thing I learned from this run is how much infrastructure you need for this. Next time, I can look at this and build the required number of production buildings right from the start without overbuilding.
Insufficient materials. Upgrade complete.
You're now able to fly. Press space twice to lift off, and then press the direction keys.
Insufficient materials.
In flight mode, mecha speed is boosted by 150%, and energy consumption is increased. Press Alt to land the mecha.
Insufficient materials. Replication complete. Replication complete. Insufficient materials. Insufficient materials. Upgrade complete. Insufficient materials. Insufficient materials.
Unlocking crews is just a matter of time at this point, so I'll find a destination and plot a route there.
Rotate the camera. Hold the right mouse button to roll the camera. Press N to align the camera to the North Pole. In the planet view, scrolling the mouse wheel also enters the star map.
And I picked up some fuel for the trip. It doesn't take much, but I do wish I had those hydrogen cells from the beginning of the game.
Replication complete. Insufficient materials. Replication complete.
With only 60 red and blue left, I take flight. My base will handle the rest, and time is burning out. But then I think better of it and land to save a little fuel. There should be an achievement for your first flight this late in the game. And now that I'm closer to research completion, it's time to take flight again. I'm flying as high as I can, so I can leave the planet as soon as the cruise drive is finished. The clock is getting close to an hour. And bingo, it's off to the
You can
races.
fly the mecha to different planets or planetary systems by following the arrows in space navigation. Hold Shift to accelerate, or S to slow down. You can also press Q, R, or hold the right mouse button to fly sideways. Now you can click the star map button at the bottom left corner of the screen to view the planetary system, or even the whole cluster. You're now able to cruise. Press space twice to lift off and enter flight mode. Hold the key for forward movement, and space in flight mode to reach a certain altitude to activate cruise mode.
And there you have it, one giant leap for mankind with a couple of minutes to spare. For each of your runs, you can find the time played for a save file in the load save screen to see how far over or under the time you were. With the lessons learned this run, next up are the Strangle in the Creatal and Won't Die Low achievements for defeating the Dark Fog base and getting attacked from space within an hour. As a note, by the time I'm editing this video, I had gone through and my next attempt was in 1 hour and 7 minutes, so there's a little luck and tweaking involved. If you want to see more of this content, please give a like and consider commenting and subscribing as well. You can make fun of my gameplay if you want to.